thought I'd share my pen making jig. I use this to cut the blanks into the two lengths that you need. I find that if I'm doing this without a jig, your hand is, especially when you've cut one piece off, you're down to the half left, your hand is dangerously close to the saw. I'm not too fond of that. So what this jig allows me to do is cut these exactly the same size without measuring, because we've already measured the distance from here to here. And for these particular slimline barrels, I measure 55mm, and I take that as the size, which gives you just over a mil either end of the barrel to trim with your trimmer. So what this is just a piece of pine. This piece of wood here, or this bottom piece of wood, has these bolts countersunk all the way through from the bottom, countersunk about halfway up to get them to come to the top, but you obviously adjust as necessary, and screw them into the tight holes, and they stay put, so you don't need to glue them or anything. So there's a back plate there just to stop the wood going through, and underneath here is a sponge pad, double-sided sponge tape, and what that allows you to do is apply pressure without it being an exact fit. The distance between here and the end of here is the measured distance of 55. You can make as many jigs as you like for different scenarios, and the 55mm has been cut off at this point at the same time as I cut the rest of this. The whole clamp, the whole jig is bolted, clamped into place here. So I know that when I lift this up here and screw this bolt down, I know it's square for a start. That isn't going to go anywhere. And to be on the safe side, we can clamp it down with a screwdriver, spanner. So I know that that is rock solid there. The whole jig is solid. So I know that when I make this cut, this is guaranteed to be 55mm. No measurements required. I've already done the one measurement, and you could just keep pumping these in and cutting them, say if you're doing a lot of pen blanks. So keep that nice and tight. The one thing to make a note of is what you do is regards to keep your grains lined up. So I'm just going to cut through this. Notice there's no hands anywhere near this apart from the one to drop the saw down. What I do is I keep that lined up, not moving, undo this bolt, take this piece out, keep it there like that, and without changing the orientation of this, slide the next piece in, which is a cut from there, so your grain is going to be lined up and matched up. Tighten this piece down, worth the extra second or two it takes to do this. Cut this. Hands were nowhere near. Very safe, very accurate, very repeatable. So we've now got probably put big screwy turning bits on there if you wanted. We've now got an exact, our grain has been maintained, the grain pattern is retained, and these, when you measure them, are guaranteed to be exactly the right length and both identical, which always helps. So bit of pine, scrap, a little bit of MDF as a backboard screwed into the bottom here. This bottom piece bolted first with 2 bolts. When you're putting the bolts through, screwing the holes for the bolts, countersink them quite a way, and also keep these 2 pieces lined up before you do it. Then re-drill the holes on the top here, another mil, which makes this wood slide up and down easily on there. It doesn't need to be tight at all, this one. And then before you put this piece back on for the final assembly, screw this piece flush with the back of there, and you've got yourself a nice usable jig. Hope that helps someone.